Good morning, everybody. Welcoming you to another one of our top producer webinars. My name is Glenn. I am part of our resolution tier 2 team, and I also work on the onboarding team. So I'm one of those people that would help you out with one of the more difficult situations and also be able to show you how to use the software and get the best out of it. Today, I am joined by the amazing Heather, and take it away and introduce yourself, Heather.
Thank you, Glenn, and good afternoon from the East Coast. My name's Heather. I'm also a part of the onboarding team. So if you haven't already had the chance to meet me, if you sign up and you get our concierge package or standard package for setup, then you do get to meet with myself or Glenn. We have a couple other people on our onboarding team where we can really help you one-on-one and get your CRM set up for you. As well as these live webinars, which can really help you out.
Absolutely. We're always here to help you and always here to make things easier for you. One thing we have to say, I've got to update this thing because we only are doing the videos through Zoom. So we are interactive. We do like to hear what you have to say, and we do like to get answers to you. So if you do have any questions, click on that chat icon in the bottom of the Zoom window. Either myself or Heather will be able to answer your questions. We'll take care of it, and we'll hopefully get some good feedback going back between us and some information going both ways. Both Heather and I are very much into explaining the differences and changes. And one thing that's a really good benefit is I'm a old school 8i person. I've been around for a while, but I also do know TPX quite well. And Heather there, on the other hand, is a more TPX or Top Producer X for version user.
I like the newer version. I do. I like the clean look.
Yeah, so you've got both sides of the screen, you've got both sides of the software, so you hopefully will get the best answers to all your questions. So feel free to ask us stuff. We are happy to help and happy to answer them. So if you don't have the needs of the questions now, but they do come up afterwards, as you can see, we do have our support team that you can access from going to the bottom right of your Top Producer software, or even going over to support.topproducer.com. From there, you can reach out to our live chat team, which Heather and I both love to remind everybody, they are humans on the other side. You may get a robot asking just where to direct you, but then it is directed to a live team member. Usually you'll get an answer within about 1 minute of reaching out to them. So from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, give us a call, or not a call, but give us a chat. We'd love to hear from you.
And please don't yell at us. I was on chat before. It can be helpful, especially, I always like that you can still do other things while you're chatting with somebody. If we can't get you the answers that you absolutely need, we're not going to leave you hanging. We will make sure that we get in touch with you another way. But the chat is useful, and it's exactly like Glenn said, we are real people. So please be nice.
I love that. I love that. It is one of those things where we can understand frustration now and then. We're happy to help, and we'll do everything we can for you. So I get that. And I do like her saying, please don't yell. One other way is if you do have an issue that is not an immediate concern, feel free to email us over at support@topproducer.com. We will be able to answer your question within hopefully a 24 to 48 hour period. So hopefully no issues come up and that we can answer most of your questions today about the second part of getting into your Top Producer X. So today we're going to go over how to organize your contacts using statuses and types, simplify data management with a follow-up coach, easily communicate with your clients, and record details and schedule tasks. Much of these items are going to make it so that your time within the software will end up being less because you're going to have everything right at your fingertips to allow you to get through it quickly and easily. So let's first start talking about statuses and types. Now, a lot of different programs and a lot of different areas may use this in different names. We do like to call your business pipeline where you have your statuses. Items like new, engaged, future, active, and closed. Now, types in other programs may be referred to as tags or groups. These help you make sure you have everybody in the same place and quick and easy way to organize your contacts and also reach out to those important ones that you may have something specific to discuss about. So let me jump over into Top Producer X. You will notice right off the bat, I have all of the different statuses or pipeline statuses right along the top. Your new is obviously the brand new contacts you get. Once you get a new one, you want to try to reach out to them, talk to them. And once you've had that first initial conversation, we recommend going into engage. Engage means you've had that chance and you're still trying to determine if there's somebody you're going to work with now, or maybe somebody in the future. We like to say future are usually those that maybe not ready now. They're just kicking the tires, looking for some information right now, not exactly sure of how they're going to progress.
And Glenn, you're really overdue. By a lot. So here's actually a neat little thing that you can do up here with their follow-up reminder. You can do this for each tab as well as to when you want to reach out to your contacts. So do you want it to be every 120 days? And the fact that you're overdue for 120 days is a little insane, but you get it. So let's just say you want to reach out to them every, it is your future. So what do you think?
Future usually is 120 days, so every 4 months, just quarterly. But you don't leave them hanging from the middle of August 2021 when we're now in the start of February 2023.
Chances are they've already found another realtor.
That's why I'm a computer tech, because I'm a horrible realtor. Absolutely horrible. So this is one of, and these here are great, the follow-up reminders. And thank you for pointing out my deficiencies on follow-up, Heather. I appreciate that.
You're supposed to get this cleaned up.
I will. I promise. I'll have it cleaned up before the end of 2023. I promise. You'll notice it goes a different color for the overdues. I was hoping I'd have one that would be. Okay, we're just going to skip over. So future, you want to, maybe they don't have their financing set up and maybe they're just looking. So you want to keep them in there in your database for the possibility of working with them in the future. Next is active, which, yep, overdue, but I'm sure you folks don't have any that are overdue here, because active are the folks that are presently looking to get the information. They're ready to buy or sell their house now, and they've come to you as the expert. This is where you're going to be reaching out to them, talking to them on a daily basis, maybe, or even just every other day, just to make sure everything is taken care of.
And you don't have to add a follow-up reminder. This is optional. Again, it's for yourself. It's kind of just a way to like have that jump in your, like, kind of come into your, how do you want to word this? When you see that overdue, you're like, oh, I really should reach out to these people. So again, it is optional to put that follow-up reminder, but it could be beneficial to yourself.
Absolutely. And that is what helps get to this final status of closed, where you've done all the work. Your clients have either been able to move into their new home or move out of the one they were trying to sell. And perhaps you're able to help them get into a new home after selling. But then you've got it closed. Everybody's happy. Everybody's ready to go on. And now they are ready to go into your sphere of influence for future follow-up and communication with them. Which leads me to items like your contact types. So now that this person is finished, we can now put them as a past client, as you can see here. So let's just say I want to see how many past clients I have. I can click on that and it'll bring up the fact that I have a total of 2, even though I have 3 people enclosed. Obviously, I didn't label one properly or any of them properly. Let's go take a look at this. Yes, I have 2 that I have not properly labeled. So since these are closed, we want to, and what I'm doing here is I'm going to show you a very quick and easy way to label people with something. And when you notice an issue like this, where I've got 2 that I no longer have, that I've closed and I don't have them set up as past clients, we have this tag here for add a contact type. I've selected both, like just see, click on the checkbox here to put the name in. I click on this and it offers me my add contact types.
So this is a great way to actually do like multiple contacts, because you can also give them the contact type by going into their contact records individually. But I do like this to be able to do it in a group so you can get it done a lot faster as well.
Absolutely. And because of the fact that this was a perfect opportunity to showcase it for the group, I just thought I'd go with it. So I'm going to actually show what Heather mentioned about the individuals as well. And I like how she keeps me honest, keeps me in the right spot. Thank you.
I try.
So you'll notice I can put in here now. I'm going to do this a little bit slower. You can click here and you have two ways to find it. You could scroll through and you'll see as I go through, I have a lot of different contact types. But since I know I want it to be a past client, I can type past. Anything that has a past client in the name will show up. So let's just add them to past client. Then you just click on add contact types. And there you go. Instantly they have them. The advantage of this is if I ever need to search my past clients. Now you'll notice I do have this I is colon here. That is a search parameter you'd want to use to be able to get your group type or contact types to come up. I keep forgetting how to talk. It's going to be that kind of a day. You you'd want to be able to type it in here and then you can choose. You'll notice it comes up with the past client right here. I can click on that. I get my search item. For some reason, it's just pulled up the 2, but I should have more because I have 3. But again, this is, as Heather reminded me, an account that does need to be started over because I have abused it and things sometimes don't work the way they're supposed to. But let's just say I have another contact type that I want to bring up. I have one here called Heather Demo. I don't know where I came up with that one, but let's bring that up.
He does this for a reason. He likes to bring this up because later he likes to trash me. Just kidding.
Trash you. We do have to have fun. So Simon asks, I just happened to see this out of my corner of my eye, how to set up follow-up plan for a group of people. I just saw you apply 365 days plan on one group. Okay. This thing here where you saw the 365 days, this is a little bit different. So let's go back into the closed. We have the follow-up reminders here and assign to all. What this means is if you click on this, you can choose the range you want. So it's not actually applying a plan. It's just creating a follow-up reminder for myself. This means
2 days. It could be 5 or the days. These days for your follow-up can be really anything you want, or you can have 0. You don't even have to have a follow-up. It's very optional. But let's
absolutely
show them the plans anyway.
Absolutely. Like one of them here on new tasks or the new clients, I have it set to follow up every day, engaged every 5 days. And these are just reminders for you. So it'll give you this overdue status if you haven't clicked on them. So you can do that on every one of the ones from new, engaged, future, active, or closed. So you just click there. So again, I'm going to grab Heather. Yes, absolutely, Simon. Simon asks, like for all my past clients, I can just set up 60 or 90-day reminders, right? Not a plan? Absolutely. You can set up plans. Those are a little bit different and more detailed. We'll go over a quick bit of plans in the webinar. But
and can I just jump into something here really quick?
Absolutely.
Here he's saying the 60 or 90-day reminder. So again, it's just a reminder that you see that it'll say like overdue, which you need to follow up with them. It's not something that's sent out to them. If you're looking for that, that would be a part of the plans. But exactly, the 60 days, 90 days is just reminders. Okay, perfect.
Awesome. So once again, let's go into a contact. I'll pick on Heather because, I pick on Heather. You'll notice we have a bunch of contact types here.
And you'll notice that's not me in the picture. Now,
yeah, we'll get that fixed. I wonder if that email ever went through.
No, because this email address doesn't. So just notice if you're new, when you're adding people and you have their picture in the top left, that goes based on their email address that's attached to a social media platform. Only if their social media is open to the public. If it's set to private, you won't get anything. However, this is my name, this is not my address, or this is not my email address. I don't know whose email address this is. So obviously it's pulling some other picture. So
Yeah, so
clearly you want to make sure you're putting in the right information.
absolutely. I use the test.com. I think I need to find a different fake address. I might just start calling fakeemail.com or something, or .ca, because we're Canadian, just to get that so we don't pull in the information, because it will pull a social bio. I'm hoping somebody does not have the domain fakeemail.ca when I try to use that, because then they might get emails. And if they have a Heather there, that would be interesting. But you do see, I like how you made sure. I was actually, now that I look at it, since you're on screen all the time, yeah, people would be like, that's not Heather. So we need to change that for sure. You will see that you've got all these different contact types. If you want to just add one to a contact while you're on here, let's say I did have her set up as a motivated seller and a seller, and we've gone through everything. And let's say we've actually found her the home she wants. So as before, how I did a group of people with a past client, if I click on edit contact here at the bottom, again, I forgot to do this, edit contact at the bottom here. You're going to want to scroll down through this until you get to contact types. And once again, you can click on here, and we could take off buyer by clicking on the X here. And then we could put past client. And I'm going to say that she was just a past client. Very quick, very easy. We're going to put her in, leave her in future, because that's where we'd leave past clients who have been taken care of, unless we've gone through and just closed them recently. But this is a great way to do it. You can update and add all the information here. We'll put her in closed because she's a past client and she was a motivated seller. So and here's an even better way. You can even go past client. Now, let's just say I don't like having it with seller at the front. So let's do past client seller. And there you go. I have just added 2 new contact types to this contact record. Once I hit save contact, right there they are. So that's how you would do it individually for a single contact. So hopefully that was easily understood. I'm pretty sure that it's going to become second nature to you after you do it once or twice. It'll just all of a sudden be part of your routine. You'll go in, you'll make the contact types, and then you go from there. What do you think, Heather?
You got it. I really like types. I just feel it's one of the easier ways to organize things. When I was younger, I was the whole like do a tang with all the colored, what did you call those? I can't even remember what they were called, but I'd have everything organized by the colored tabs. So really, this is kind of what it reminds me of, but it's digital. So, and it's an easy search.
It was the divider pages with the tabs. Yes. I remember them in my binders and duotangs. Yes. Now I have it on my PDFs and everything. Although here's where the difference comes in. Now, this is a great reason why Heather and I bounce off each other well, because she is the organized one who had all those dividers with the colored tabs in them in school. Whereas I was the one who was and still is organized chaos, where it would look like I don't have an organizational bone in my body, but I do know where everything is. So something like this is just a perfect work for her. It's just a flow of her normal routine. For someone like me, this actually causes and forces me to be more direct and more organized. So it's not chaos anymore. It's actually organized.
Might save you some time.
Oops. My boss is talking to me. So the next one is the follow-up coach for maintaining relationships. Okay, that was supposed to be do not disturb.
Is he interrupting you? Tell him not to interrupt you during our webinars.
Yeah. Okay, hopefully. Sorry about that, folks, but when the boss sends you a message, you tend to answer him right away because, you know, he's the boss. Okay, so
I really like the follow-up coach, so I can go over this.
Please.
Well, you talk to the boss. I'll mention the follow-up coach here. So it's a really neat option to have available to you. Just keep in mind too, if you've just recently imported your contacts, you may not see anything in the follow-up coach until 24 hours after importing your contacts. Once you can see the follow-up, you can see contacts listed here below. You'll see contacts in the follow-up coach. This is just a great way. Say it's like sometime in the year, it's slower for you. You don't know who you're supposed to reach out to or who you should. You can just use the follow-up coach. It'll always give you 5 people to reach out to. Also, another great way, if you have hundreds and even thousands of contacts, this is just a great way to easily clean out your system. Not meaning like going in and deleting them. If you want to, that's fine. But even just going through them and making any necessary notes that you need to make. Maybe send them that follow-up email to keep in touch, or give them a call or a text. Whatever it is, you're following up. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to reach out to them. Maybe Gracie Garcia. Well, okay, sorry, I'm totally saying that wrong. But let's just say you bumped into them at the grocery store the other day and you see them come up here and you're like, oh, hey, I can make these notes. So again, it's just following up is just making any notes that you need to make. And if you're watching, you can see Glenn going crazy on the computer. So follow up again, you make your notes, you give them a call, you send them an email, set an appointment. But again, it just keeps you on top of all your contacts. What do you think, Glenn?
I think you explained that perfectly. And as you can see here, I just put a very quick note on this contact saying ran into them in the grocery store, wants to set up an appointment. We'll just pick a day, Monday, to have a follow-up with them. We'll just say 10:30 instead and have that go to 11. And then just hit save wrap up. It'll give me this error because again, I've abused this account a lot. And we'll close it here, but you'll see that it still has that. It has the note and my task will be right here, ready for next week. Now you'll also see that this says completed. So while Heather was telling you, I was doing the demonstration in the background that took me what? Not even half a minute to complete. Now, since they're all going to be easy and quick like that, you'll have 5 of these here every day that you can do that on. Now, I'm not good at math, so I like to just say, if you were to work 300 days of the year, which we all know no realtor only works 300 days, but if you did 300 days of a year, you would connect to 1,500 of your contacts. So here you can see I have 939 in this account. That means I'm going to hit almost everybody twice. Now, if I were to work 365 days, well, okay, we'll say 364 days of the year, I at least take 1 day off to be with family and friends. That's over 1,800. So I would go through my database twice. This is a quick, simple, and easy way to follow up with your contacts. And most importantly, make sure nobody slips through the cracks. And as I know, Heather is super fond of saying, I'm going to steal her thunder on this one.
Oh,
This skip button, ignore it. Pretend it doesn't exist. You don't really want to skip one because they end up at the back of your database.
it shouldn't have been added.
Agreed. Agreed. Anybody, even if the client has moved out of state and you're not going to be able to work with them anymore, you still want to go in here and set them inactive. And then mark it done.
And if I could just mention,
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was to say, if I can just mention too, is like using the follow-up coach. If you're not already following up with your past clients, that can also just be a great way to bring in, to have them be a lead again, or bring in new leads just by referrals. So I always suggest, and it doesn't have to be like, you can follow up any way you want to. Should I bring up the pumpkin story? But
yeah, go ahead.
It's a neat way to follow up. So I have a friend that's local. He has been a realtor for 20 years now. And he's also sold my parents their house over 16 years ago. They bought their house through him. every year, not just my parents, but I believe he goes to his past clients. I don't know if he goes to every client. I've never asked him the details, and maybe he has a list of his what would you call those, like hot leads or
Yes.
favorite contacts, A list, B list, C list, whatever you want to call it. But he goes to them every year and drops off a pumpkin at fall, during fall. And I thought, it's really thoughtful. I mean, most people do like, or a lot of people like to have pumpkins on their doorstep, or maybe use to make a pumpkin pie or carve it out for Halloween, whatever you want to do. I think it's a nice gesture. It's not just like, emails are great, but he's kind of going above and beyond, and everyone's going to remember him from the pumpkins, right? So, I mean, it's a great way to put yourself out there. So you can always put on here reminders to send out pumpkins, or well, it doesn't have to be pumpkins, but you get what I mean. I think that's a neat way to follow up.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those great little things. It's something like that, as Heather said, 16 years later, she still knows and remembers that realtor. And I'm sure if she was looking to buy a house, she'd ring them up and say, hey, you helped my parents. It's now your chance to help me.
Well, he's only worked on referrals for 20 years. He's only worked on referrals. And that's because he follows up with his leads, right? And I mean, his card is still on my parents' fridge. So when they sell, they'll be going back to him 100%.
It's one of those great things about the follow-up and using the follow-up coach here to make sure nobody ever slips through. You will create that follow-up, you will recreate that referral, and you'll also create that repeat business. And you can see in the very quick amount of time, I've already done 2 clients just from doing a quick understanding, and ran into one and then realized one moved out of state. Because the name came up, it can trigger a memory. Now, let's say you have a day where, and I can use where Heather lives as an example, you're snowed in and can't get out of the house to go and do.
And it's freezing rain. We've got way too much snow, and now we got freezing rain on top of it.
Yeah, exactly. So she's literally stuck in the house. She gets through all 5. She can hit this button here that says refresh list, and it'll get 5 more. So yeah,
I was going to say, exactly. Follow-up coach would be perfect for me to go through during the winter. I mean, apart from working, I really don't want to be inside in the summer, fall, spring, but
exactly. So
I can stay inside during the winter.
Yeah, when it's negative, lots of numbers and freezing rain on top of snow, nobody wants to leave the house. So it's perfect time to clean up your database, make sure everybody's up to date and all your information is there. And this is also another way to clean up your database. Right here, schedule a follow-up to ensure imported contacts don't fall through the cracks. I imported this contact May 31st, 2022. Obviously, for me as the realtor, they fell through the cracks. If I had been paying attention to my follow-up coach, they never would have. So it's just another example or another piece of the puzzle that'll help keep you organized, keep you flowing the way you need to, and keep everything the way it should have been. So thank you. That was a great explanation. This is why it's great having both Heather and I here. We can bounce off each other and give great examples. And she sometimes explains things better than me, actually quite often.
I think it's nice because we both kind of look at it from a different perspective, right? So
Absolutely.
I think, yeah.
It helps.
To share that information.
Yeah. So the next thing, and this is one that the realtor she was speaking of would use frequently. Notes and documentation are always going to help you. We have a fun thing to say around the office that, well, the company, because we all work remotely, we'll just say the office in general, but if it's not in the notes, it didn't happen. That is a common phrase that we've said before. So this is something that can help keep everything organized once again, where you can remember important dates, set up tasks, put in your notes, or even property insights, which is a great way to have direct comparables given to you by your contacts. That way,
property insights is my favorite. I really like property insights.
Cool. Well, then I'm going to jump back into Top Producer X and let's go over these. So I'm going to go back to my Heather contact.
So we'll use me as a demo.
Let's.
Oh, that's a different one. I don't have a picture.
Yeah, We'll go to the one that has your picture.
Oh,
So the
great.
first thing I'm going to go over is important dates, because I like to pick on her with this one. So randomly pulled a date for the birthday. That is not really her birthday. So if you were thinking of sending her a happy birthday on the 14th of February, it's really not her birthday. But you can put that in there, so you'll always have the important dates. And you'll notice when I click on dashboard, it tells me right away what the next most important date is. But we have other important dates that you can put in here.
You're taking me back. It hasn't been that long, but
I know, but I like to poke at this. So in December of 2022, Heather took a once in a lifetime type trip over to Paris. So, yep. So I can always have this, so I can remember closer to the date to reach out and say, hey, world traveler, what's the port of call this year? Little things like that would make her go, oh, they actually do pay attention to what I'm talking about.
And
Obviously,
talking about, if I can throw this in here, Glenn, I
Sure.
think this is amazing because this just happened to me recently. Obviously, I went on this trip to Paris. I did in December. But as a follow-up, I thought this was such a nice gesture. One of my customers, just like you guys are, she's an agent, had sent me an email, had nothing to do with Top Producer. She's like, you mentioned you were going on a trip. How did it go? Like, so she just sent me an email to ask me how my trip was. And I thought that was very thoughtful. So she did to me what you could be doing to your customers. And I'm not even her customer. I guess her, well, I help her with the CRM. So, but again, it's just, you have that important date so you can reach out to your customers. And again, it's a thoughtful gesture, and it doesn't take that much time or effort doing that.
Absolutely. So
And it's nice.
this,
Yeah.
it's a great place to put something in there so that you remember to reach out to your clients and say to them, hey, this was a special date, birthdays, anniversaries, once in a lifetime trips, items like that. You can put them in here so you can talk to them about it. Because I know whenever we bring up Paris to Heather, she just like lights up and is happy. So that's a positive memory that'll always be there.
I
And
do
the
love
fact
Europe, and I go any chance I can get.
Exactly. So there you go. That's just another one of those things that you can use as a conversation opener and a conversation starter. The other
Maybe
one,
it's a sports fan, maybe it's a tool fan, car fan, shopping, fashion, whatever. But again, it just gets you interacting with your clients. So it's not just that sale, and that person wants to interact with you, right? So yeah.
absolutely. Plus, that also creates the referral and the repeat business there, because you're personable. You look after people and you want to reach out to them even after you've done the sale. That's just going to keep you front of mind of everybody. That's a really great thing. Now, both Heather and I love this one, the property insights item. So we do have an address in here. I pulled it off of, we have the MLS for the Northwest MLS for Washington and Oregon, because I'm on the West Coast and the Hop Producers headquarters is on the West. Virtual headquarters, sorry. Most of us are out here. Heather, we were lucky enough to get from back east. But for the most part, we use this test account. So I was able to go to the MLS, put in an ID number, and bring an insight in. Now, I'm going to go over to my other monitor and see if I can pull up another one that's newer so we can look at it. So Heather, you want to take it away for a second while I find an ID number?
Absolutely. So property insights, just remember, this is for your buyers only, not for sellers. It's for your buyers, but it's also another great way just to stay organized. So especially when you're working with multiple buyers and sellers, and you're working with multiple clients at a time, this is going to be an easy thing for you to look back on and just kind of, yes, this is what I need to show my customer. This is what we need to discuss or whatnot. So what you're doing in here for property insights is that you're pulling the properties. It's coming directly from the MLS. You're pulling the properties that either your client has inquired about. Maybe they were out for a drive on the weekend and they saw a couple houses for sale and they reached out to you and said, hey, I saw this house for sale and I'm really interested in seeing it. So you're going to add it to Property Insights. And you would put that customer inquired or inquired on. Once you've kind of started showing them a couple properties, or even before showing them, you just know what they're looking for, you can even go through and find them a couple properties and add to this list. So it's going to eventually here, you're going to have like the ones that you've shown them, ones that they are interested or not interested in, and eventually ones that they've put an offer in. Hopefully offer wasn't rejected, but that is also an option. So maybe they put an offer in on it and it was rejected. But another great thing is that when you're categorizing it as not interested or interested, you can make those notes for each property, why they were interested. So they liked the large windows. They liked that side of the house where the sun came in. They love the hardwood floors. Maybe things that they didn't like. You list all this information. So it just helps you work with your buyers a lot better and more efficient. Ta-da! And so eventually you'll have a lister because you end up maybe showing your buyers, I don't know, sometimes it's 2 or 3, depending. Maybe during COVID, you might only show them 1 and they put the offer in right away. But maybe now they might end up seeing like 10 properties, give or take. But this keeps you on track about what properties you've shown them and why they liked them or didn't like them. Once they've made the offer here, you can just go right into adding a transaction.
Yeah, sorry, for some reason, everything I try to pull up is not available right now.
Oh.
That must mean that the market is going crazy right now. Let me try one other one here. MLS ID. Now you'll notice I have the 2 options for address or MLS ID. I'm going to try putting in an ID number and seeing what happens. Yay, finally found one. So you'll notice, as Heather was saying, you do have the option here to show the interest available or interest in the property. So you can have inquired about it, interested in it, not interested, shown, made offer, offer rejected, or sent to client. So let's say they're interested in this place. I can click on interested in here and then save Property Insight. And here you go. I haven't put any notes on it, but I now have this property in here. Now, let's just say that Heather is like, okay, yeah, this is a cute little place and it's close to a lot of the stuff I need. I want to put an offer in. You can change it to made offer. At the same time, we have this button here that says add transaction. Click on that, and all of a sudden, you have the options to create a transaction for this client. Let's call this a
Mobile?
Yeah, we'll call it mobile. See, December 7th. December 7th. I'm surprised anything's still in the market from that. Then you add transaction. You'll notice now we have a transaction. She's the primary buyer. I'm the buyer's agent. And I can just get back to her contact record super quick by just clicking on her name. But again, you'll see Property Insights has both of them. She's made a couple of offers, so she really wants to live in that area, which is a cool area, I gotta say. And we got both the transactions in progress. So you need to pick one, Heather. You just gotta do it. You gotta choose which one you want.
Well, it's not in this area.
Exactly. So that makes it difficult. Now, again, notes are going to be a very important part of anything. So she's picky. So house is not in Europe. So she's not interested. So we can put a note like that in there. And, she's become my pickiest client ever because she wants something.
I want a B&B in France. I mean, who doesn't?
So this is where you can keep track of items like that. And these notes are just yours. So you can put anything in here. The customer is not going to see these notes. So that's just for your records, because we all know that every now and then in the world and in the fact that we all are essentially customer facing representatives, we're going to run into those people that are memorable for different reasons. You may want to put a note here to say why you're very glad that specific transaction is complete. And I'm sure you all get what I'm very politely trying to say here. So that's a great way to get everything you need, your important dates, your notes, property insights, which are so cool. And then what was the other one on that thing? Tasks.
Can I just stop you for a quick second though?
course.
If anyone hasn't finished filling out their settings, just remember, in order for you to pull from property, to pull the property insights, they are coming from your MLS board. So you do want to make sure that you have already gone through your settings and added your MLS credentials to pull that property.
Absolutely. That's a good call out, Heather. Thank you.
No problem.
The last thing on here to help keep you going with things is your tasks. Now, let's just say I want to add a task.
Oh, sorry, again, I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But we can also maybe mention tasks and kind of go over a little bit over the plans, because I feel like they kind of go a little bit hand in hand, and that way we can show Simon as well that
Sure.
the plans. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're actually on point for once. So I'll do a real quick a task. You can add a new task for an individual and just for one thing. So we'll add a task that I want to have an appointment with Heather to go over wants and needs. And we'll say that we're going to have this on. I'm going to do it tomorrow because I want to get this taken care of right away. Again, 10 a.m. till 11 a.m. And now you just put the information in here. You can have one that goes repeated, daily, weekly, annually, any of those that you want. This is another great way to put in a birthday card reminder. You could put a reminder or task in to annually go out every year on a specific day to remind you to send that birthday card out that you want to send. But you just click on Save Task here, and it'll just take a second, and you'll see we have go over wants and needs. So this is an individual task. Over here on the left, you'll see a button that says Marketing. If we click on this, we're going to be able to see our task plan manager. Now we have three different types. You'll see by the center here, plan type. We have a contact type one, a lead response, and a transaction. If we want to do a contact plan, right here we have a bunch that are I've already put in and worked with, or we can click up here on the right where it says Browse Template. Clicking here and then clicking again in this button, you can see the different plans that we have. So let's say it's for an after sale follow-up. You can create a 1 year or even use our 1 year plan that will remind you to give a housewarming gift like a pumpkin or something like that. Do the one thing that is difficult. I mean, I have difficulty doing this myself after helping clients, is to ask for a review. It's always nice to have a review of how everything has gone, and that way you can show your bosses that you're doing your work well, and also show prospective future clients how everything is going.
And if you have in your email there where it says ask for a review, if you already have, say, a website, or some people use Zillow or different platforms where they can put their review on, you can always add that link in the email when you send it to them, so they can just click on the link and put their review in there.
Absolutely. And so you can also have it if with your market snapshot, you can set up so they get a quarterly market report. Reason to do this is it's a nice way for people to see how that huge investment they've done is actually growing for them, and they're getting more return on the investment already. 90 days, just give them a quick phone call and say, hey, how you doing? How are things going? All the move is fine. Everything's happy in there. Again, seasonal gift. Again, berries in the winter, in the summer, fresh wreaths in the winter, pumpkins around Halloween, you know, all the good things. And then always the follow-up after a year, because as I remember the day of the first year that we had moved into our house, even though that was like 13 years ago. First day, you're sitting there going, wow, this has been my place for a year. So you pull it up, you can look at it. Now, let's say it's not exactly everything you want. You go ahead and click on Customize Plan. Let's put this another demo. Past client. Yes, I name everything after Heather when we're doing these, just to put her on the spot. So we'll save the plan. So let's just say I've got this 90 to 100 day or 180 day difference, and then even 180 days to 365. Let's say I want to add a day in between the 90 and 120. You just click on add a day. Email. Let's see. We'll just say it's a catching up email at 120 days. Right here, I can write 120 days after plan start. You have options here. You can have it actually start on or after a date, and you can actually have it go by previous tasks. This way you can do a cascading action or task plan that will go in order of different tasks. You can then find the search a template, and let me see, I've got a couple of personal ones here. Heather demo email. You can include your signature, which I always recommend making sure you have your signature set up in your settings so that any emails already have that on here. And you can have it set to auto send. The only reason you wouldn't set it to auto send is just in case you want to look at the email before it goes out on that day. And it'll give you a notification 120 days out to check that email, make sure there's no changes you need to make, and then you can send it. If it's a standard template that you've created that always has the same information and is good for any time of the year, you can click on auto send. So if you do have one of those days where it's back to back to back to back to back showings, you may not have as much time to dedicate to your CRM. Your email is still going to go out and you're still going to be doing that follow-up. So once I've done, I just click save task. I scroll down here and here we go. Right in the
And
middle.
if I can just add something as well. So like as these are like really easy to customize, add a day, even if there's a task on here you don't like, you can delete it. One thing that I really like about these two, if you just scroll up to the top, please, thank you. I love how he has control and I'm just saying. But let's just say, for example, like past client. Maybe you have another plan that you want to make that's very similar, but only needs one or two changes done to it. You can just exactly duplicate the plan rather than having to do the whole thing out again, and then just rename it to whatever it is similar to your other plan. So you can do that. And these are just a few plans that are already available to you from the website or from Top Producer that you can customize. If you already have plans that you use, you can also add your own plans from scratch. So very, very customizable for you.
Awesome. Now on the category of task plans, we do have a question from Faith. When you set up a task plan and use a text message, are you able to set it up with the actual agent phone number? I've heard reach from another agent. So first off, our task plans presently right now do not have texting as part of it. Our lead response plans and lead response rules do. It is something that we're investigating the effectiveness of those just to make sure that we get it for you. Now, the actual agent phone number is not something you're going to be able to put into Top Producer X. And for those of you in Canada, if you are here, we do not have text messaging in Canada yet, but we do have it through the United States. You would go down, I'm going to click on settings and see this account, as you can see, is a Canadian account. It doesn't have texting capabilities. When you put it in, you get the option to have a text message sent out and a texting number. We have found that the best thing to do is to just inform your clients this is a specific business number. That way, if they reach out to you or contact you back, text back, you will get a notification on your regular number, but the text will go directly into Top Producer X. If they call that number, it will still ring to your regular cell phone number. We are not authorized to connect your actual phone number to our system to allow us to send text messages through it. It is something that I can understand would be an amazingly awesome addition to the software. Unfortunately, we don't have that capability.
The way I kind of look at it as well, nobody looks at numbers anymore. I mean, when I look at my phone and I get a text, I never look at the phone number to where it's coming from. I'm looking at the actual text itself. There are texting templates available for you as well. And again, anytime you text someone, especially when you text someone for the first time, whether it's from your phone number or another phone number, you're still always introducing yourself and saying who it is. So best thing to do is to say, hey, this is my office texting number. Text me here anytime. And like Glenn said, and if they accidentally call that number, it will still go to your phone. So I think the texting option is great because you can keep everything all in one spot. Like, so when you go to your contact records, you can click on emails, you have all your emails there, texting's there, all their contact information. So it's, yeah, I mean, I think you're rarely going to hear from someone saying, well, this number is not your number, because I don't know how many people actually pay attention to phone numbers anymore, but.
Well, for phone calls, I ignore them. I'll be honest, for phone calls that come to my direct phone, if it doesn't come up with the person's name, I usually let it ring through to see if it is somebody I actually want to talk to or just spam phone call. If it is somebody that I don't have in my contact list, I find out from the voicemail they left or the text message they've sent, and then I add them in. So that's another thing. Definitely make sure people know this is a secondary business number, just so that they have it in their phone already. Now, getting back to the actual plans. Now, we've just set up a plan that is good for the follow-up afterwards, 365 days. There are 2 ways to attach them. If you click on your contact and it jumps out, you'll see we can click on the tasks icon here. And I have to keep moving my little video here to get myself out of the way because I'm blocking everything. But you have this option here to apply plan. Click on that. Click on this here. You'll notice this one at the very top because I used a pound sign. Or what do the young generation call that now? It's a hashtag.
Oh.
I was
gonna say a number sign.
I still look at that and see either pound or number sign, so forgive me. I think I've heard it called a hashtag, but we've got this Heather demo past client after sale follow. I just click on that. I double check that it is the one that has the 120-day follow-up, and I apply plan. And there you go. You can see all my tasks or even just the tasks for that specific plan. If you all of a sudden get, say, 3 in and they're not really into it right now and might actually be moving away from being a past client to a new client, you can unapply the plan real quickly by just hitting this here. You sure you want to unapply? Unapply. You'll notice it's gone. Now, keep in mind, it will, if you need to continue it, will restart over from the beginning. So make sure you don't, like everything else in Top Producer, don't delete it unless you know you have to.
And if that was a past client plan, just to kind of follow through, and I decide like, hey, I'm actually ready to sell my house now, then you would stop that plan and add a new plan for, do we have a seller under contract or a seller's plan or something like
There's
that? But
probably
again,
like full seller outline. Yeah, with nothing. That's awesome.
so you made a plan with no tasks.
Yep. That's
But
awesome.
so that's just how you can apply a plan to one individual person. Let's just say, for example, you end up having 3 buyers you're working with at the same time. I don't know. Is that a normal thing?
I don't know. You and I
feel
are
like you'd
usually
be really
with 10 or
busy.
15 people at a time taking care of all their needs. So
So let's just say if that was the case, you're working with multiple people that happen to all be buyers or sellers or whichever, and you want to put them all in the same plan. Again, you can just select them all and you can apply that plan to all those people at the same time. So you do have the option, one individually or by group. I also like to mention this before going into the plans. It's a suggestion that I always think is a great one, but a lot of times you're adding emails to those plans that are going out. So before going in and making these plans, customizing them to fit you and your business, go over the email templates first. And there's lots of templates available for you. They have a lot of great content. However, it's not your words and from your area. So use what's in there but then also make it sound like it's coming from you and your business and whatever location you live in. And it doesn't mean you have to customize every single one of those templates. Some of them you might not ever use. So I suggest go through them, see which ones look good. All you have to do is quickly click on it. You can see all the content here, and you can hit customize plan and make any changes you want to make.
And one thing to keep in mind, you'll notice this little blue icon down here. That's where it says template on it, but that's where you get things like merge codes. So right here where it says hi contact.primaryperson.first name, it's going to pull out the first name from your contact record. So you don't have to worry about going through and editing every email to put the names in. Simple. So,
also, if you have your own templates and you don't want to use any of the ones that we have already made and customize that, right at the top of your page under template library, you'll see add from scratch. And it's just a blank canvas. You can go ahead, put all your own information in there, and you have your own templates. Now, just keep in mind too, that this is the template library. You're not sending them from here. You're just storing them here. They're already made. So when you go to send your emails, you just click on your template and then it adds to your email. And you don't have to retype it out every single time.
okay, apparently good. Well done. I was trying to distract you. You stayed on target and on point. Nicely done. But yeah, you can put anything in here. Let's say you want to change the colors. Like I really want this to have a background so that it really stands out for. You can do all that, and you can even add an image. Let's see if I've got something here that I can add. Pictures.
You can add images. You can add hyperlinks so it can go right to your website.
I need to change that from saying bye to saying hi. But yeah, you can save that right off there. I could even put a link on this one by clicking on the add a link, website URL, us.com/onboarding. And that way, anytime somebody sees this image, if they mouse over it, they'll see that it's a link, and there you go. They'll go over to one of your pages. And then you just go ahead and give it a name.
Heather's demo.
I really should have had that capitalized, but I didn't. And then right here it is. You'll always be able to tell it's a new one and it's a personal one. The most recent ones will always show up with the new here. If you need to make any edits to it, just click on this button over here. If you need to trash it, sorry, Heather, I'm throwing one of your things in the trash. You click on delete. It'll ask you to be sure because it can't be recovered. And there you go. So that's a couple little extra little added things we could tell you because we had a little bit of time. Well done, Heather. We are 2 minutes before 11 o'clock. So we've stayed under the hour. Most of you have been able to stick around, which is really cool. So I'm going to go over a couple of the last minute details here. If you have any questions, please ask. We have a couple more minutes and we can stay a little bit later if you need questions. But we do have this wonderful support site at support.topproducer.com. If you go there, you can do a search through our repository of information. So let's just go over. You can get to it from going here and going to support site, or if you just put in support.topproducer.com in your browser, you can get there. We have our getting started guide, how-to guides on different items, video library, and even you can chat with our team from here as well. You'll also be able to see that we do have our webinar schedule. So Heather and I get to do a couple of webinars every week, but we do have other webinars that every now and then pop up. Like tomorrow, we have a Top Producer X setup for 8i users webinar. So anybody who uses 8i, you can definitely pop by there and see the best way to convert over and start using this amazing program. Another thing that is where we shout out announcements, which I have a feeling there's going to be a huge announcement going out very shortly. I'm just throwing that out there, a little bit of mystery, but there's going to be something a lot of people really like is going to come to fruition. Go to topproducer.com/blog and you'll be able to see any new items that we put out. Also, we do put a little bit of interesting things we find that other people might like and might help you in your day-to-day business. We do have a YouTube page where later today this video will be uploaded, so you can review it and watch it again if you want to see the hilarious antics between me and Heather go on again. But you can go to youtube.com/topproducersoftware. You can see this video or any of the historical ones that we have up there for other locations and other information. Lastly, you have a Facebook user group at facebook.com/groups/topproducersoftware. Reach out there. You can ask questions of your fellow realtors or even get answers to questions from our team here at Top Producer. Lastly, though, we look forward to your continued success. We want to help you. We want to make sure our software is good for you and working for you. So let us know if you run into any issues. Again, support at topproducer.com has that live chat available. Both the program always disappears on this when I'm doing a webinar, but down in the right-hand corner.
I've also added all the links to the chat as well for all those. You're very welcome. I've also added all the links so you can just easily click on them, open them, and save them as your favorites. Again, if you have any last minute questions, we would love to help you. So you can put that in the chat.
Absolutely. And this is what the icon will look like for chat. You'll always see a little circle with a speech bubble. That's what they used to call them. Click on that and you'll get to one of our team, usually, like I say, within about 1 minute. One thing I would say to do when it comes up, first and last name on the account and the email on the account, just so that we can actually bring your account up to have it right in front of us, so we can answer your questions really quick without having to go through the whole, who are you and how can I help you thing today. Makes it easier and gets your time because we know it's valuable taking care of fast. And lastly, if you do have questions that don't require an immediate answer, support at topproducer.com. We'll get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. So with that, I think we're good. I don't see any new questions. So
I guess we've answered everything. Or hopefully this was helpful as well. Yeah.
If you have any questions, reach out to us. We're happy to help. And we do have more webinars. Feel free to pop in and see us again sometime. But for now, my name is Glenn.
I'm Heather.
And we wish you a very successful day and take care. We'll see you at the next one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.